In this video, we're going to create a simple compositing. What I mean by simple, it is just take object, extract, and put it just background and match color. So it's not complex with multiple elements involved. So this is from Photoshoot. I did it for some wand shop. It's really different. And we'll just use it, this model. Couple things I want to modify. I won't modify any of my profiles because I think it's look just fine. And in some cases, actually, this profile may not work very well. Like, for example, look right here, we have it one edge. And if we're going to remove chromatic abbreviation, now we actually introduce even more glowing. So it's shifting, but not necessarily the way I want it. As same will be for profile correction because I start punching on the middle, which I don't want it. So I will ignore any lens correction for this specific photo. However, I want to adjust my highlights, so I'll bring them down. And you can see on a face, we'll just bring more colors and I will remove elements. So I want to flatten my image a little bit so I will have it personally, can adjust how I want on this. And shadows just slightly up. Also, we'll go inside the edge cell adjustment, luminosity. And at this point, I want to just take a look on my orange, and I can see we can bring a little bit bright on orange, restore a little bit on the flatness, but still preserve some of those highlights. Same with saturations, we can take a little bit down if you need a saturation. And I think it was just maybe little bit, because I want to preserve of the hair and some other coloring. And of course, we will increase some of that in a post. So overall, it's not that much to except the sharpening. Let's restore original sharpening. A reason why I say restore original sharpening, was shot in the Canon 5D Mark III, which is have it in camera anti-aliasing applied. So I was kind of trying to restore the image. Some of the cameras, Nikon or new Canon, you actually don't have some of the sharpening, so you will have it original image. Okay, now we'll go ahead and click Open Image, and we inside the Photoshop. First things, I want isolated my object, and doing this, I will go create a new layer. Let's go to rename model. Okay, and isolations, I will do the pan tool for this. We'll go zoom in. Okay, let's go right here, adjusting. And just about pixels, I'm starting from this point, and we'll go around object to isolate it. This is very easy isolations. It is hard edge, and you probably can use it magic wand if you want it, or any other tool you prefer. For me, I prefer hard edge, and pan tool work just fine. And this is much easier actually right here because we have it, those tools. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now, pause this tutorial recording till I'm going around the model and create my vector mask. Okay, so right here went around. We go now connect all. Let's zoom out and preview, and we outline. How say this is relatively very easy one. Next we'll go right click, set create vector mask, and if we disable, you can see right there. The couple things, I like to create vector mask because it's give it very sharp edge and it's nice to integrate. Usually my approach to Photoshop, it is much easy to create dark from light or blur from the sharp edge. So it's much harder to go other ways. So when I prefer to do something, I prefer to create image or lighter and add shadows to this instead add highlights. It's much easier. As well as if I need to blur the edge, I can very easy to apply this, and it will be much harder to actually create sharp edge from the blur one. So this right now we isolated mask model. Next I want to apply first. Well, let's create new layer, and we'll call this touch up. This will be our small healing brush adjustments. For this size of for the model and a job, we don't need to do any frequency separations, just simple touch up. And normally I see right here in eye, for example, we have it some of the okay, let's select one right there. We can adjust a little bit, select point, Because I just see the veins and I just want to remove some of those veins. Again, I don't remove them on original. We have it our separate layer, so it's what we're doing on. I'll just go right here, just a little bit touch up and remove some of this coloring in her eyes. We will want to leave maybe just a little bit color imperfections because it will make look kind of more real, but I think in sometimes those elements can be a little bit more distracting from image. That's what I'm doing, just kind of fixing them. Again, right here you can see remove from this eyes. Same, let's go do on that one as well. Okay, just adjusting a little bit right here. Don't need to do too much, just mostly those heavy ones that is kind of bring to the attention. So this is, I want to just fix them a little bit. And the reason is also we see them more in this case because if you look, her eyes is pointing way out, so we have a lot of whites open. And usually when I shoot, I want to have an eye kind of about right, maybe around this place. It's too much, but idea of this, it is make a little bit more surrealistic kind of eyes, so the whites may work actually better in our advantage. So nice. Till we with healing brush, let's touch up a couple other areas. You know, just small things. Personally, I like to kind of keeping some of the skin blemishes on because it will give it natural look. We can make almost plastic skin, remove everything, but again, for current image, I think this is won't necessarily work very well. So again, we'll touch up here. Now, overall, the skin is very clean, nice skin. So we'll go right there. Maybe usually we'll find more elements on the chin. Almost in all models will have it problems. Okay, so we'll go clean up there. And actually, in some cases, I find problem is not the skin as the makeup. So we'll need to fix up some of that makeup problem. But I think, okay, right here, let's move it, and we'll apply additional smoothness afterward. It just only discolorations. Okay, here, always remember we need to look on the hands because many times people forget to fix the hands. And this is freckles. They look very good. Actually, I like them. They add more character to ours. Just I'm looking for the scratches or some other elements, but I think it's all look good. Right here, let's look on a brush. Right here, I see the hair, which is definitely very distracting will be for us going. So let's remove this one. I think that one was a little bit too much. We have some small hair right here, but I think that is not pop up as much as other ones. The seam right, this one, yeah, just let's leave it here. I think this is about good for retouching. Next, let's go work with some adjustment, smoothing a little bit of our skin. To do this, we have it create new layer by combining all up. On a PC, it will be Control Shift Alt E. Okay, and we're going to also parent child, so we're clipping all these images, and you can do but Alt or Option and left click. If you hold down, you come and you can see your mouse icon kind of changing, so you can clip them. It's meaning they all stay together. And as we do this, okay, right here, let's go to now filter, noise, dust and scratches. And if we look on a face a little bit closer right here, you can see we're kind of removing that. The scratches will preserve some of those edges, which is good. but I want to bring a little bit higher, maybe about 22. When I see this smoother skin, let's click OK. Next, we'll go create new mask, and we inverse this mask. We'll take now brush, be sure it's set to the soft brush. Let's go to the white, and we'll say to the opacity, maybe even less, about 8%. Again, you can do with the Wacom pad directly. I'm just using a mouse for this. So at this point, I'm just start painting over. Again, this is applying this kind of smoothness blurs thing effect to the skin, but it will clean up a little bit. I don't want too much. I want preserve skin texturing, but I want smooth it a little bit, so not too much of the distractions going, and little bit, not too much on eyes, just very little bit on eyes. Okay, we'll go right here, pop up our brush size, a bit smooth around. Okay. Usually the smoothness work very well. If you look closer, we can see some problem with noise, digital noise right here in the shadows, and the smoothness does work actually very good in the shadows, creating kind of nicer effect. So it's why I used most. Okay, and also on the hands, let's increase size of the brush, and we'll go over hand. Just faster right here. Smooth a little bit skin. Okay, let's look closer right here. Skin. Okay, oops. Before and after, you can see we just smooth a little bit skin. Okay, next we'll go to create a dodge and burn. It's create new layer, 50% of the gray. We'll clip this and switch to soft light. Okay, now we'll have our brushes black and white. And usually I start with the shadows. Again, very soft. We'll keep it on 8% soft brush. And we'll just start adding shadows. Let's go first closer to the lips. I want to add a little bit more volume to the lips. So you know what? Let's go with 10% opacity, so a little bit faster. And we can go down below right here a little bit. Switch to white and add a little bit. Kind of on the whites middle. Just create these shapes. Also zoom out. We're still on our black one, and you can use the X key to go between them. I'm just adding a little bit more depth to look. Okay, right here on the cheeks. Again, you can preview before and after. You can see we add a little bit more shape to it. And this is first model. Of course, we will have it our dodge and burn more when we start merging with other image. So this is just for the model. Okay, so fly away. Okay, we're going to switch to white, add a little bit here, maybe a little bit on the eyes, and I'll just touch on the teeth, very small one. Okay. So now let's go back to going to the hands. Okay, we'll start with a darker one and add way more shadows on the hands. That was closer to the light, so they kind of overpower white ones versus face. So we want to darken hands a little bit more so they don't take too much attention, because right now they're kind of white too much. Okay, so let's go down here. Go on the hands. Okay. So we go right this area. Again, darker on the hands a little bit more. Okay, switch to the white, add some highlights, so it will bring shapes out a little bit better. Okay, let's look on our hands before and after. Okay, now let's go add some of these shadows to our clock. So, and I'm just going over with the those wrinkles, just emphasize them a little bit more. Okay, we'll go right here. Okay, let's go switch to the white and just add right those areas. So again, we're just adding, kind of bring more dimensions to our lines. Okay. Next, what I want to do is bring a little bit more coloring to the hair. And for this, we'll go create a curve. We'll switch this curve to the overlay. So like, yeah, let's go with overlay. Let's also clip it. And then we'll take, I'm just looking on a hair right now. I want pop-up contrast. I think this is kind of nice. Okay, Command Control I to inverse. And with the Y tool, 10%, I'm going to paint a little bit on a hair, mostly in the highlights area where I see it. So it's kind of just add and the highlights. Can make a look before and after. Just add a little bit more to this. Okay, next I want to add smoothness to the magical to the hair. So we'll create a new layer again. Okay, hair. Okay, let's clip it. And we're going to the filters. We'll go to Stylize and click on Oil Paint. So this, if we click, you can, if we zoom in to this and press settings, you can see our hair come up. So we want 100% stylization, cleanness to scale 1 and brush to 0. So let's go click OK. It will apply to everywhere. Again, we need to create mask, inverse the mask, Command Control I, and just paint in the area of the hair when I want to clean up a little bit. So it will add kind of more cleanness to the hair. So it will add kind of almost painting effect. It's work very well on the hair. It's not necessarily will work well in other areas. On the plants, when you have leaves, maybe work as well, but right here on the hair, you can see before and after. Just remove some of those elements, create interesting look. Okay, next let's go to combine all images, Control Shift Alt E or Command Option Alt E. New one, this will be our global dodge and burn for this. And we'll go to image adjustment, black and white. I want to bring a little bit yellow and reds up. Next we'll go to image adjustment, shadow highlights, and right here we'll set radius 11 for our shadows and the highlights, bring them amounts to 100%, and on a tone we'll just maybe bring slightly adjustment, like, yeah, I think around here. Okay, there, what's happening, we're going to use that soft light, and 50% gray is invisible, so whatever is darker getting darker and brighter get brighter. And this is work very well if you look on texture. Okay, Control Z, I moved by texture. So if you look on a texture before and after, you can see how it's brought texture way up. So that's what we want to do. On a face, it's not necessarily work very well, so we can, well, it's work well on a male, female get a little bit grungy kind of look. So I want to bring texture a little bit right here, create mask, take our brush, switch to the black, and a little bit remove the grungy from the face, because I want to preserve that smoothness that we have before, just around right there. Okay, so think at this point we're done retouching, and wand, you know what, maybe just add a little bit darker to the wand. Right here, let's go dodge and burn. Add a little bit shadows, depth to the wand, I think. But again, this is, I think that one is work better. Let's look. Yeah. Okay, I think we're done with the model. So we'll go on next tutorial, going to add backdrop. What I'm going to do now, combine all this in a group. Go model. And usually when I know I will do scaling or other things, I will always convert this to the smart object. In this case, if we rescale or anything, it's one effect resolution. And you always can come back and edit smart object by double time clicking. So let's continue in next portion to add some of those backdrops.